So there are 4 things you need to do to remove the head from the table. Disconnect all the cables from the back of the machine, secure the encoder, the Y encoder, disconnect the belt, and then rotate the head with the bolt and lever at the front. Okay, to remove the connectors from the back of the head, 2 of them are locking connectors, and you need to get a flathead screwdriver, and there is a little tab on the top 2 connectors, the black one and the white one, that you'll need to lift up in order to slide the connector out. Now, these tabs are not that durable, so you'll need to be careful as you pry this tab up. So what I do is I'll just wiggle my flathead screwdriver under the tab and then gently lift as I'm wiggling the connector out until I can feel it release. And if I can't feel it release, then I'll just kind of wedge the screwdriver in a little bit more, and then it generally slides out easily. Once you've removed the 2 locking connectors, the other ones are secured either by a zip tie attached to the strain relief bracket, so you'll need to snip that and slide that USB cable out. And then there's some Ethernet cables underneath that have a button on them, and you'll push those down and slide those out. And on your machine, they may be zip tied to the strain relief bracket as well, so you'll need to snip that zip tie before you remove that. And finally, the power cord on the bottom in the center has a red button on it that you need to pull back towards you to release it. It's a lock, and then that'll pull out as well. And that is the red button you'll need to release. The next thing I do is I want to secure the Y encoder, and what we use is just a strip of fabric, and I'm going to put it underneath the wheel axle and then pull it up, and I secure it to the handle on the back, and that just keeps it from dangling down when you are in transporting it around. Okay, the last step I'm going to do is rotate the Sewhead so I can remove the machine from the table. And the way to do that is you're going to loosen 2 screws on the side of this 1-inch cover on the top of the head and remove it. And then there is a 6mm socket head bolt that you're going to loosen. T-handle is probably the best if you have one, otherwise use any other Allen wrench. So once that is loose, I can go over here to this metal lever and push this backwards, and then that should release the head and I can rotate it. Now, to get it off the table, I may have to raise the front handles a little bit. You can use that same 6mm T-handle to do that. Raise them up, secure it, raise this one up, and then you can rotate the head. What you don't want to do is put too much stress on the cable harness that is in the back. If you feel you are, you can bring it back to center and then release it and go to the left, which is probably the better way. Okay, I've rotated the Sewhead and I'm ready to remove the head from the table. But before I do that, I decided to do one more step, and that is to remove the Y-axis belt clamp from the front axle. So what I did is I just loosened one of side of the wheel on the front with a 6mm Allen, and then I loosened the 1/2 inch bolts on the clamp and slid that off. The machine travels a bit better if that is not still attached. So now I'm ready to take the head off, and I'm going to slide it all the way to the back of the track carefully. Make sure the Sewhead clears the take-up bar. And then if it's one person, I cradle it under my arm and then pull it back and lift it off. And then for transport, I would rotate the head back into its locking position.